Going live.
Bank it out.
When you're ready, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Ben. At this time, I'd like to call to order the North Canton Committee of the Whole meeting, January 25th, 2021. The time is 7 p.m. Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Fonte?
Here.
Member Stretta?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here.
Member Foltz?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Member Stroya?
Here.
And Member Peters.
I am here.
7 present.
All right, thank you. First up on the agenda, Community and Economic Development Committee. Chairman Revolt, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Last year, the administration distributed a property maintenance code, which are amendments to Part 17 of our zoning ordinance. Purpose tonight is to ask if there are any issues or concerns that are related to this first draft of that document. Before we open up the floor for discussion, a second draft has been prepared. The plan is to have that to us in the very near future, hopefully for some adoption in March. And as you all may recall, what we're particularly interested in is the property maintenance section, maintenance parts of Part 17. So, Mark, do you have anything, or does anyone else have any questions or concerns at this time on this matter?
No, I know this is something that is needed for a lot of different reasons, but I haven't seen any replacing parts. It means you haven't sent it out yet, right? Because I don't.
We should.
We got in December.
Yeah, you should have the. I'm calling it the December 11th version.
Okay.
Everybody should have had that.
All right, I was looking through my stuff here and it didn't have it, so I thought maybe it's something that's coming. But
well, we will have something that's coming. So if you don't have anything tonight, don't worry about it. I promise you, live action shortly.
Okay. No, I don't. I just want to see what we're looking at, what's actually going to be changed, and because there's a lot of need there for some things that could really help our community.
Yeah, we've got about 50 or 60 pages of document coming on this matter, so it's on its way. Does anyone else have anything, any comments on this at this point?
Yeah, Daryl, I had a few comments.
Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, just some clarity, and maybe it's addressed somewhere else in our codes, because I've read these so many years on and off. But if I go to page, I guess it's 1732.1 sanitation. It's either page 28 or 31, depending which number you're looking at from December's packet. My question is sanitation, and this is something I'm trying to look at, things I see or calls I get or issues that we have in our neighborhoods, but it addresses sanitation in the sense that maintain a clean, safe, and sanitary condition, so forth. Is there anything in here, and I know I've seen it before, you really can't put your trash out, or at least we recommend 24 hours or later, or early, to the curb. And what I always see, and I've talked about on council floor, and I don't know if that's something we can add here if it's not addressed, but I don't want to see people cleaning out their garages, or if there's somebody moves, or whether it's a owner occupied or rental facility or rental building, stuff's just out to the curb. And then it detracts from the whole neighborhood, and it'll sit there. If it's Monday and our trash is Thursday, we're looking at it for 3 days. Do we have any teeth in anything in here that we can address that with? That'd be my one point.
How about we take them one at a time? This is
sure.
So, and specifically in regards to that, I think whatever we have now is working well. I get a number of those calls, whether they're from council or from just other people. We've sent the nuisance department out. We get immediate results because we're able to, lower the hammer. We cover that, through the rules concerning our trash pickup. One of the things that we see a lot is even people setting stuff out so that it is the day before, but of furniture that's not wrapped in plastic wrap, and that is that's a violation of our trash contract. So even stuff like that, we're able to go back and enforce on that. So, but anything else that we can add in here, if it isn't covered, I'll make a notation that we work with Martin on that if we need more clarity on that. Absolutely. That's certainly our intent. And we feel that we've been addressing that this year. We've had a lot of calls on that this year.
Yeah. And Pat, I appreciate that. I knew we had it somewhere else, but it might be, even if we, reference it, or if it's fine the way it is, that's fine. We're getting a message because, you've helped everyone on occasion, or you've seen it or gotten calls on it. And that's good in that respect. The second thing I had was sometimes I see situations, there's one on Williman now, I can inform you later, but of people just parking in the front lawn when there's no, actual driveway to park on. They already have a car or a vehicle in the driveway. And I don't know if that can be addressed through motor vehicles 1732.9, or if we got some other code that we can use on that also. I know it refers to vehicles that in major disassembly or aren't licensed, or even maybe aren't being able to be operated. Maybe they're not functioning vehicles, but we have that situation I've seen through the years. But then also we have people just park out wherever they want to park on the lawn or on the property, and it detracts from the rest of the neighborhood and then becomes an eyesore.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to address that as well. And that is, you've covered that well with some of the conditions that deal with some of the more permanent problematic offenders with their vehicles. But for those that just, decide to park in their grass and just, redo it repeatedly, there's provisions in our code that deal with that. But here's what ultimately happens, and this is what happened to us this past year, is we ended up taking one down to municipal court over that. And the reaction was, are you kidding me? We're dealing with serious things down here and you're bringing us this. So we've had some long talks with the Canton City Prosecutor's Office and how to address these going forward. Part of what this whole code will do is our law department is looking into and crafting the necessary response mechanisms on which way we can go with that. And what we want to end up with is something that is more efficient, quick, rather than the process that we had before, which required us to be perfect. And if something wasn't exactly right, we'd have to start over, and we never could seem to get stuff down to municipal court. So our approach to it now is, once we standardize the process, we go through it, we're going to do all that we can, and whatever sticks in at the court sticks, and what doesn't, we'll try again. But
well, I think, hey, Doug.
Yeah.
This is Daryl. Patrick and I have had some conversations about our relationship with the municipal court prosecutor. And I'm of the opinion that we should measure that prosecutor's performance. And if we conclude that performance doesn't meet our needs and those of our community, I do not believe we have an obligation to have a contract and to fund it. And I know that sounds harsh, But the reality is we're talking about an important element of quality of life in our community that others seem to be rather indifferent to. I know we're not going to win every case, but the fact of the matter is I'm a little disappointed by the reception. So I just lay that out. Maybe that's something for a future council when that contract comes due. But maybe it may be time to explore other options.
Okay, well, I appreciate that discussion. And Pat, just to get back, so just so I have some clarity, so we're saying that situation when it's actually a vehicle that meets street requirements to be driven, that's not going to be addressed in this code we're working on now. There's another.
Yeah, that would be more in the traffic code.
Okay, I just want to make sure okay. A broken down vehicle or somebody working on a vehicle or someone parks a vehicle and abandons it in their backyard, side yard, whatever. That's 1732.9. See, I didn't know if we could add to that or you had another ordinance that would address both concerns. Okay, thank you for that. Overall, I think it's a good working document here. I'm pleased to see that, we're writing this with some other building standards involved that we can actually, inform, educate, and if we have to, fine. There's a process I think is more than fair, and it just gives us a better document to use for these type of housing, I guess, violations or property violations. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, we're not out to just find people immediately. I think there's a process that they have reading this that, they have time to address these situations that are affecting the immediate neighborhood. And I think it's important to note there's certain standards that we want that our housing codes here are going to reflect. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I applaud us moving this forward and working on this to get it to where it needs to be. So thank you for that, administration and Martin, everybody else that's been involved with this.
Yeah, just to make sure we all understand, this is much more than just housing code. This is
right.
Yeah, affecting all property in North Canton, commercial, residential, abandoned land, vacant land, all of it.
Right.
We never have had that before, that comprehensive. And through Ben's help and Martin, we just decided that let's just go through and do a complete overhaul of the entire thing rather than just try to piece in a commercial property maintenance code. Let's do it all, do it right, do it once, do it right.
Right. Pat, I appreciate that. I know you talked about that in December. Absolutely. Vacant property, commercial property. It's right. Let's address everything at once. I appreciate that.
Hey, Pat, this is Daryl. I've got the old one and the new one, and Doug's comments sparked a question. Do we address the storage of RVs, boats, trailers, etc. in this document?
We have ordinances on that now. We're not repealing any of those. It's a matter of then just enforcing it. And that was the part that we are addressing is the standardization of how we do these things.
Okay.
What process are we following? Are they, how are they being notified? What timetables are involved? How do we ratchet it up? And then what happens with that?
Okay.
And so there should be. I mean, I know the ordinance is that, you're not supposed to for extended periods of time. In some places, it's year round.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's what's happening, Daryl, to your point. People have recreational vehicles and then they'll put them on an R50 lot and they'll be in the front lawn. And maybe, we don't want to see a boat there all year or RV there all year. And there's not space for it. But, while we're sympathetic to people having, a standard of living, we also don't want to detract from the neighborhood. So we've seen it all. I've seen semis parked, and then we got to tell them, hey, move this to somewhere. You can't do this. You know, you can't pull a big bus in here and leave it here. Say you're
You
working.
have one of those, Doug.
I know we do. I'm going through 25 years of what we've had to deal with. So, and how and what our best approach is in the future for everybody.
But I'm making a note of it to address that in our, as we go through the next draft with this.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
All right. Yeah, I think, if you're looking for guidance, I think all of us want to encourage our residents to enjoy quality time outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't want is, as Doug has alluded, to have a neighborhood forced to look at a recreational vehicle the size of a municipal bus 365 days a year because he or she is unwilling to find a suitable storage location. So I think that's something that we should have a conversation about.
Agreed.
All right. Is there anyone else who wants to chime in on this? Again, we're going to try to get this back to you as soon as the administration and Marty complete their work. And again, the target goal is a March adoption. Did I cut somebody off? And I should note that for those of you who are curious, this is the precursor to the rental registration effort. This one done, that will follow. Okay, Mr. President. Let's move on to item 2 then. If there are no other comments, let's move on to item 2. We have a request from the Planning Commission to rezone a parcel over on the corner of Lindy Lane and Portage. This is the former rectory or manse for the church. Pretty cut and dry. This actually issue's been hanging out here for a number of years. We need to establish a public hearing for that to proceed with the rezoning from P&I to residential. Ben tells me that March 1st would be the first available date for the hearing. Are there any objections to holding that hearing on that date and beginning action?
Nope. It's fine.
Sounds good.
Okay. Seeing done, then we'll proceed. Ben, is that okay?
Yes, that's all right. I will send
Publish
publication
notice.
to the repository tomorrow.
All right. The third item, I'm asking council to consider an amendment to our zoning ordinance. Conversation that I had recently revealed a weakness in our zoning. And that is we have very, very limited commercial real estate in town. Physically, it's limited. GBA, GBB, OB. Our goal is to create, as the mayor has said, a corridor of opportunity on Main Street. And we're going to have some new zoning later in the year. But right now, our zoning allows for multifamily to be constructed in OB, GBA, or GBB. In effect, to diminish very scarce, limited commercial acreage. So what I'd like to ask council to do is send to the Planning Commission a request for a minor amendment to our zoning ordinance, and that is make multifamily a conditional use. There are some standards that are associated with it. They're not onerous, but it gives the Planning Commission an opportunity to determine whether a project is consistent with our overall objective. And then it brings it back to council to affirm that a multifamily project, again, is consistent and the best and highest community use for the community. So does anybody have any questions?
Lots. But I'll let council go first.
Go ahead. Council?
Well, first of all, where's this coming from? Do we have a problem?
I'll tell you what I'd like to do, Mr. Soretta. Mr. President, are you online here?
I sure am.
I would like to make a motion, if I can have a second, to move into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Okay. Is that a motion, Daryl?
That is a motion.
I'll second it here. Hold second.
Both seconds. Okay.
You'll need a roll call.
Ben, will you please call the roll?
Member Fonte,
Yes.
Member Soretta,
Yes?
Member Warren,
Yes.
Member Foltz,
Yes.
Member Revolt,
Yes.
Member Stroya,
Yes.
Member Peters.
Yes.
7 yes. Okay.
Can you get us there, Clerk Young?
Yes, one moment. Would council like anyone to join them in executive session?
The administration may. Mayor and the Director of Administration, the Assistant Director of Administration.
All right, I will open all rooms and we will return once council comes back from executive session.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
Good, Ben.
We got everybody?
We got.
I'm back. Dom's
back.
here.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to
Hold on.
be back? Can anybody
We're
hear
back.
me?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
can hear you.
yeah.
Thank you. I didn't push any buttons.
It closed automatically.
Yeah,
it
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 counts
was on
down.
a timer.
The mayor, you
Oh.
out?
Ben,
Did you
where
get
you
out?
been?
All right, I believe we have everybody.
Is everybody back? Hey, Mayor,
Yeah.
Mayor, I appreciate your comments. This is kind
Yeah.
of.
Hey,
thank you.
Steve, I think that's a
Yeah.
good point what you
Thank you,
said.
Mayor.
Yes.
Yep, I agree with that, Steve.
Mayor, I always felt you have that option.
Yep.
I don't think
You're the
that was not everyone's belief at all.
Not at all.
Nope, I didn't think that at all.
Not
Hey,
at all.
guys.
Even-
Hey, guys.
All
Okay.
right, are we ready?
Hey,
Yeah,
guys.
go ahead.
Okay, we have item 3C.
Hold on.
Wait.
Hey, guys. I need a motion and a second to adjourn executive session.
Revolt moves.
Hold
Shred
a second.
All in
Okay.
favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, executive session is adjourned. Let the record reflect no action was taken. Chairman Revolt, the floor is back to you.
All right, we have, for our consideration, for our following agenda, put this item on the following agenda. It will require four votes to do so, to move it from committee to legislative action. Are there four votes? Revolt says yes.
Call roll.
Okay, Foltz?
Ben, call roll.
Hey, Ben, will you please call the roll on item 3C to move to the agenda?
To move the resolution to the council agenda.
To recommend out of committee.
Right,
Yes.
correct.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Member Revolt.
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Sereta.
No.
Member Foltz.
Yes.
Member Fonte.
No.
Member Warren.
No.
Member Stroya.
Yes.
Member Peters.
No.
The vote stands at 3-4 and 4 against. 3 yay, 4 nay is a clearer way to say that. Sorry.
The matter does not proceed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we have Finance and Property. Chairwoman Warren, the floor is yours.
Okay. And I don't know if some of you noticed this today, but we are going to need to do this on an emergency. And this was for funds for the transfer to get everything balanced through December 31. And we've talked about this other times. So I move to put this on the agenda.
Stroya seconds.
All right, when this is on emergency, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. All right. And this will be on the agenda tonight.
Yes.
Yes.
If it passes here, yes. So we need a
Yeah.
voice vote right now to pass it out of committee.
Okay, Ben, can you call, or just a voice vote?
Yeah, we can just do a voice vote unless someone wants to motion for a roll call vote.
Okay. How about I just, all in favor to move this out of committee, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll move it out of committee. All right, Steph, thank you. Okay, moving on, ordinance rules and claims. Chairman Stroya, the floor is yours.
All right. If you guys scroll down to page 31, it starts, I think it's from like 31 to 107. So this is all stuff that we've passed before. This organizes it, codifies it, it clarifies a bunch of stuff, replaces some missing pages. Ben, if you want to make further comment here.
Yes, so this is just the formal codification of legislation that council already passed in 2020, making sure that the written standing law in our codified ordinances matches what is actually enacted law in our city. We, starting this year, are using a more streamlined process, which we'll actually have the first one in the next meeting coming up immediately after this, of that new streamlined process where the initial ordinance states that it will be codified and requires that the mayor and I bring back to you guys the final page for approval before we codify it. But all of these were passed prior to that new system, and so we're playing catch up essentially. But the new system will let us codify much more efficiently throughout the year instead of large catch-up ordinances like this at the end of the year.
Okay. And Ben, do you want to start at page 31 and just read through all the way to 107? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, let's put him on mute now.
That's funny.
Any questions on
No.
this? Anybody?
No, we should move forward with it, Matt.
Okay. I motion to put it on the agenda.
Okay, all in favor, move this to agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries, and that is an emergency, correct, Matt?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that does it. All right, that's it for ordinance rules. Okay, next up, street and alley, Chairman Fonte, floor is yours. Dom?
They muted?
Oh, we may have lost him. Hold on.
I heard somebody.
We did. We lost him.
Beep
It
out
does
there.
appear
Yeah.
that we lost Member Fonte.
Is he trying to get back in? Are you watching? Are you looking? I don't know what
Yes,
happened
he
there.
has not
See him on yet.
requested yet, but I will text him.
Okay, I'll tell you what. In the interim, Patrick,
Yeah.
if you could touch base on the purchase of the rock salt.
Certainly. So as you're aware, of course, we use salt on our roads, and we have a need.
Sorry about that. I'm back. It's Dom.
Okay. Dom, do you want to do this one then? I'll be
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah. Go ahead and tell me what you got. I missed that last section. I lost you all. Oh, yeah. This is the sodium chloride. Okay.
Yes.
So really, this is an annual thing we do every year, and we buy it off season, so we get better pricing. And so it's a traditional thing we do every year to get our salt for next winter. So I move that we move this to the agenda.
Did you have anything else to add, Pat?
Sorry
Oh,
about
he-
that, guys.
Much shorter winded than me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank God Dom came back.
Yeah, I got lost in space or something. I don't know.
All right, all in favor to move this to the agenda, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries, and this is on emergency as well. This will be on the agenda following this meeting.
Was there a second
Okay.
to that motion?
Was there a second?
Short of seconds.
All right, did I jump the gun a little bit on that one? I thought I heard a second. Okay. All right, that concludes our committee of the whole meeting. Entertain a motion to adjourn this one.
Story moves.
Sort of moves.
Hold seconds.
Full seconds, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned out of that meeting. And at this time, try this again.
Lock it up.
Yeah, at this time, I would like to
Call to
call to
order.
order the North Canton City Council regular meeting, January 25th, 2021. The time is 8:29. Mark, Dominic, would you like to lead us in prayer?
I'll be glad to. Don?
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. Lord, thank you for bringing us here this evening, this wonderful new year. Thank you again for the responsibility to lead our community and your community. Help us to listen, to understand, and make good decisions throughout the year to help this wonderful community that you have given us. Keep our community safe and healthy. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right, at this time, if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Ben, at this time, would you please call the roll?
Member Peters,
Here.
Member Stroya,
Here.
Member Revolt,
Here.
Member Foltz,
Here.
Member Warren,
Here.
Member Soretta,
Here.
and Member Fonte.
Here.
7 present.
All right, thank you, Ben. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve as presented. Minutes from December 7th, 2020, Committee of the Whole. Minutes December 7th, 20, City Council. Minutes from December 14, 20, City Council. Minutes from December 14th, 20, Committee of the Whole. Minutes from January 7, 21, Special City Council. Minutes from January 11, 21, Special City Council. And codified ordinances, Chapter 137, amended pages pursuant to ordinance number 1-21. And it doesn't need council approval, but I'll include it. The December 2020 monthly financial report.
Foltz moves motion as presented.
Wait a second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed?
Abstain.
motion-
Dominic abstains.
Member Fonte abstains, passes 6-0. Okay, at this time, we have recognition of visitors. We went a little long. I'm not sure if we have anyone. Do we, Ben?
I believe Mr. Mulqueen's still on the line.
He is on the line? Okay. If I could ask if Mr. Mulqueen can see the screen, we have our rules for public speaks up there. I just ask you be brief, on point, and keep it professional. So, Mr. Mulqueen, the floor is yours. Ben, you have the clock.
Hi, my name is Joseph Mulqueen. I proudly live and pay the property tax at 1016 Park Avenue Northeast in North Canton. I'm here to share a wonderful idea I had that I was doing one day. What's that?
Go ahead, Mr. Mulqueen.
All right. I was cleaning my house one day and I got the idea of how the city should try to work with the YMCA on preserving the old Spitzer Chevy building downtown and see if we as the city can donate the old ramps at the skate park and create some sort of nonprofit indoor skate park that the futures of families can have, because it hurts me each and every single day in the winter that these kids don't have a state-of-the-art indoor skate park facility like my generation once had down in Canton, Ohio, but sadly it failed because it was kind of in a bad neighborhood, and also some of the people working there were letting people do some drinking and drugging in there, and one of the reasons why I want the YMCA to be in charge of the indoor skate park, because I know the YMCA won't allow any of that to happen. And, I just think this, we could preserve two things in North Canton with one building here at the Spitzer Chevy building. I think it should be more than just a skate park. It should be an art, music, and just a center for mental health awareness, because, the YMCA does give us everything to work our bodies out with, but I think maybe we could set a standard here in North Canton, because this wouldn't be the first skate park the YMCA did, but this could be the first indoor skate park, art, photography, and music venue that the YMCA could make across this country. And I'm just a firm believer that these families deserve to have their kids play at an alcohol-free venue, unlike what you see in Buzzbin venues around Canton. And sadly, when we had Sadie Renee's, that was more of a less hole in the wall, and how awesome it was. We had little jam nights there where people could, regardless of genre, play whatever they want, but it was kind of not a great establishment, and I just think that these families of North Canton deserve somewhere better where their kids could have a positive alcohol-free place to express themselves and make music at, and maybe down the road we can create some sort of family-friendly dogwood stock kind of little music festival tying in the basketball court, skate park, and just that whole park right there. And I think that whole name Dogwood Stock would probably market good, and the city could make a bunch of money with T-shirts, with hiring a local screen printer or whatever. And I know when I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the next generation of families to come here in North Canton, because my dad was a firm believer of how great of a town North Canton was. And when I was young, full of naive and angst, I always wanted to go out to California. But now each and every day I wake up here, I don't take this town for granted, and each and every day I wake up here, I take a lot of pride to live here, because we are a pretty safe community compared to our neighbors in Canton. And one of the reasons why I'm so wanting to create new facilities for these kids to skateboard at here is because I know this town isn't going to tolerate any underage drinking or any of the also the drugging that goes down at 9th Street. And one of the reasons why I want the city to hire a professional skate park construction company and not the stale guy that the Canton Rep featured is because I've seen the behind the scenes at 9th Street. I've seen, Dale drinking Modelo's while working at the skate park there, and we're not going to allow that. I just believe in family-friendly environment, because that's, who we are, what we are in North Canton. We're family-friendly, and I just want to, help propose this idea to the right people who work in my town. And I think this is something all the local entrepreneurs would gladly tie their paychecks to. And, I just kind of think of these ideas, and I want to give them to the people who are able to kind of make these ideas happen. But I just firm believer that, this nonprofit business venture can work for North Canton, and it will bring in a healthy stream of tax revenue for the town, while also creating a healthy stream of activities that everybody in the family can enjoy. Thank you, and God bless for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mulqueen. Okay, Ben, that is it for visitors?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we have a special presentation. Mr. Mayor, the floor.
Thank you, President Peters, and Council, for allowing me to make note for 2 items I'd like to introduce into the record. I also like to bring to the attention of Council, again, this is, I want to talk about our appreciation for our North Canton City School District School Board Recognition Month. And I want to thank you to our President, Andrea Ziarko, our Vice President, Bob Roden, and the members, Jordan Greenwald, Bruce Hunt, and Jessica Stroya, for their dedication and hard work for having and helping the betterment of education for our children. To follow that up is I have a proclamation I'd like to read for record. This proclamation is for all children in North Canton. Whereas all children in North Canton should have access to the highest quality education possible. North Canton recognizes the important role that an effective education plays in preparing all students in North Canton to be successful adults. And quality education is critically important to the economic vitality of North Canton. And North Canton is home to a multitude of excellent education options from which parents can choose for their children. And educational variety not only helps to diversify our economy, but also enhances the vibrancy of our community. And whereas our area has many high-quality teaching professionals who are committed to educating our children, and whereas this is School Choice Week, is celebrated across the country by millions of students, parents, educators, schools, and organizations to raise awareness of the need of effective education options. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Wilder, Mayor of the City of North Canton, Ohio, do hereby recognize this week of January the 24th through the 30th, 2021 as North Canton School Choice Week. And I call this observance to the attention of all our citizens. Proclaimed this 24th day of January, 2021 by order of the mayor for the city of North Canton. Thank you, President Peters, for allowing me to make that comment about our education. The second item I'd like to read for record is a personal resolution, I should say an office resolution from the office of the mayor. And then this is in recognition and gratitude of the achievements in community support of W. Rod Covey, who has passed away January the 15th. This was presented the day that he died, unfortunately. It reads, whereas W. Roderick Covey was born in Martins Ferry, Ohio in 1929 and has lived his entire life in Ohio. And upon his high school graduation at age 17, Rod Covey enlisted in the United States Navy to serve his country. And whereas Mr. Covey became a Navy medic and was selected to become, among his peers, company honor man, and upon successful completion of his distinguished service, was able to attend the Ohio State University in Columbus, majoring in journalism, and again showed leadership by being elected president of the OSU Wesleyan Foundation. Whereas Mr. Covey was recruited to locate in Canton, Ohio, to work for the Timken Roller Bearing Company, and later founded his own company in advertising, public relations, and marketing known as Covey and Coons Incorporated. And whereas during these years, while raising a family and providing employment, Rod Covey devoted time and resources to numerous community and charitable organizations and events, including Scouting, the Pro Football Hall of Fame Festival, the Canton Advertising Club, the Allegheny Nation Indian Center in Canton. And whereas for several years in the 1990s, he served as president of the Stark County Hunger Task Force, collecting food and funds to help local disadvantaged families. And whereas after making his home in North Canton, provided years of fundraising and support efforts to friends of the North Canton Library, as well as local veterans organizations, including leadership in the creation of the North Canton Veterans Memorial in Bitzer Park. And whereas Mr. Covey served as Grand Marshal of the annual North Canton Memorial Day Parade in 2013 and provided expertise and support for World War II veterans wishing to publish their histories and stories for posterity. And whereas when in his condo association was preparing to cut down a large tree in Auburn Knolls, Rod Covey organized his neighbors and lobbied officials to save the tree by bringing in arborists and experts who determined that the cucumber magnolia tree itself was well over 400 years old and of the largest of its species in Ohio, and that tree was healthy. Later, the tree was dated to being over 430 years old and is now listed as a world champion tree. It may be the largest of its kind on Earth. And for many years, Rod acted as a docent for the tree and thousands of people from around the world who have visited its magnificence. And whereas now in his 90s, Mr. Covey continues his generosity and kindness by annual donations to animal rescue groups, including the Cripple Creek Ferals and Friends. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Wilder, Mayor of the City of North Canton, Ohio, do hereby resolve that the City of North Canton formally recognizes and salutes W. Rod Covey for his years of community support, charitable efforts, effective leadership, and selfless contributions to our community and people across the greater region, and issues its utmost gratitude and appreciation. I proclaimed this 15th day of January, 2021 by order of the mayor of the city of North Canton, Ohio, in recognition and gratitude for all he has done for our community. Mr. President, thank you for allowing me to share these words of recognition and gratitude in response to one of our dedicated citizens. Thank you for your time. I yield back to the order of the meeting.
Thank you, Mayor. That was a beautiful tribute to a good man.
Thank you.
So, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to old business. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 75-20?
So moved, Waring.
Bold seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Administration of the City of North Canton to advertise and receive bids according to specifications now on file in the Director's office for the purchase of water treatment plant chemicals for use by the city's drinking water treatment plant, and authorizing the mayor, upon Board of Control approval, to enter into a contract for the purchase of said chemicals.
All right, thank you. Chairwoman Warren?
Okay, we do this on a pretty current basis to keep up with our water chemicals. Pat, is there anything else you want to comment on this, or this is pretty?
This is the second reading. We've gone through, the break. I was hoping that if council wouldn't object.
To put it on emergency.
Is there a possibility of that, Madam Chair?
Yes, we already said, yes, sorry about that. Yep.
Yeah, it is. We are doing that tonight.
Okay. Then if no other objections, I move to adopt with an emergency clause.
Bold seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Now may I have, formally, may I have a motion and a second to amend Ordinance 7520 to include the emergency clause per the request of Department of Administration?
Warren, first, seconds.
Well, I need
Full
a first.
Sorry,
full second.
first. Sorry, I thought I
Okay.
heard that.
Bold
All right.
second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Now, may I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Bolts moves.
Stroy moves. Stroy seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt Ordinance 75-20 under suspension of the rules.
As amended.
As
Bolts
amended.
move. Bolts moves.
Stroy seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, as it relates to the new rules of recognition of the public at city council meetings, I just need a motion and a second to adopt the new rules of council for speaking before council in recognition of the public as proposed.
Stroy moves.
Bold seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Moving on, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only Ordinance 77-20?
Stroy moves.
Bold seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to repeal in their entirety Section 111.09, Rules of Decorum, Courtesy, and Propriety, and Section 111.10, Recognition of Visitors of Chapter 111, Council of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, Chairman Stroya.
All right, down to, we've discussed this multiple times. Is there any questions? It starts on, I believe, 17?
Mm-hmm.
18.
Where is it?
Ends on 25.
Right here. This school
Oh,
stuff?
yeah, thank you.
Any questions, anyone?
Oh, no questions here.
Oh, move forward with it.
All right, Stroy moves to approve.
Bold seconds.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. May I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Story moves.
Both seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt 77-20 under suspension of the rules.
Story moves.
Both seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 4-21?
Serrata moves.
Both seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Abstain. Dominic.
Member Fonte abstains. It approves 6-0. Ben?
An ordinance authorizing the appropriation and one-time transfer of funds of the City of North Canton to be appropriated for current expenses during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, thank you. Chairwoman Warren.
Okay, we talked about this a little bit in our committee and just said the appropriations have to occur to balance. Gina, is there anything else you want to comment on this? Or Patrick?
No, that's absolutely right. Our fiscal year budget was approved through the readings starting in the end of towards October, and these things occurred more in November and December, but they still are happening for this year. So we just need to amend the budget to include them.
And we had agreed. Remember, Gina, we had talked about that and how we were going to handle that, and so it's something we keep doing every single year.
Correct.
Okay, great, thanks. So I move to adopt, and it is under emergency.
Story seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Hey, I just wanted to correct that abstain. I didn't mean to abstain this, so yes on this proposal.
You just abstained to reading it, Dom, so you can still vote on it.
Yeah. Okay, I still want to vote on it.
Okay.
is that-
Just don't jump in where you want.
All right, so I'm assuming that is a vote in the affirmative.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Okay, a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings.
Story moves.
Both
Where in
seconds.
second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 4-21 under suspension of the rules.
Story moves.
Serrata second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 6-21?
Story moves.
Where in second?
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the City of North Canton, on behalf of the City of North Canton, to enter into an agreement to participate in the Ohio Department of Transportation's Cooperative Purchasing Program to contract for the purchase of sodium chloride rock salt for the 2021-2022 winter season and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, thank you. Chairman Fonte.
Yeah, this is just an annual thing we do. We buy rock salt for the following winter. We buy it off season so we get a better price. This is on an emergency so we can take advantage of the pricing as quick as we get the bids out. So I move we pass it on emergency.
Adopt the first reading.
How about
Yes, sir.
Serrata seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
Serrata
Story
moves.
moves.
Serrata seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 6-21 under suspension of the rules.
Story moves.
Serrata seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. That concludes our legislative piece. On to department reports. Deputy Director of Administration, Catherine, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm just glad to be back, recovered from COVID. Woohoo! And just a lot we did at the end of the year yet, wrapping up everything with the CBA and got the new insurance plan out and all the, worked out all the bugs of that. And now we've got a lot of great things in the works for 21. So I'm working the, park project over there at Dogwood. wanted to tell everybody, feel free to call me anytime if you need any updates on anything. I hope to be, in communication with all of you more this year. And as we see that project come to life, as well as any other operational questions you have, just always feel free to give me a call. And that's all I have.
Hey, Kat, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Because somebody had mentioned me. Is there a way we could put a diagram out front so people can see what's going to happen? Or maybe you have. I've been over there once. I didn't see it. So it might be an idea to, how they put a diagram on things.
Yeah.
What's going to be.
Once we have it. Right now,
Okay.
we're still a few more days until we end the RFQ for the CMAR, which is the construction manager at risk. And once that team is selected, then they will work with the architect to actually draw up the final plans.
Okay.
What you saw in the presentation I did were renditions and ideas, but not actual final plans. So we're hesitant to put anything out that isn't final yet.
Are you going to come to us with that final plan then?
Right.
beforehand? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we can definitely.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Director of Administration.
Yes, I'd like to thank the council for indulging me over the winter break. I know I called you back for a couple meetings, and I apologize for that. Again, I appreciate your willingness to help keep things moving. We did have, a nasty bout of COVID move through administration, and we were, for the last few weeks, working almost all at home. And no one there. On last week, we started getting back, alternating people in their being in the office, and this week a little bit more. And we think next week we're hoping to get back to to full operational capacity from the site, but that remains to be seen. I appreciate all the spirited discussions with council. Whether it's here in a meeting or whether it's on the phone, appreciate the opportunity to address a lot of your concerns. We have a number of things that we're trying to get to you, yet, that we've targeted for, for sure. So as I think Councilman Revolt has said about the nuisance, commercial property maintenance code, all that kind of stuff that you guys are considering, we're going to get that done. And then as soon as that's done, we want to bring the next thing to you. So the next couple things that we got are certainly the rental registration and licensing that we want to bring back and talk about that, but also internally, we in finishing up the employee handbook is very, very important to us for HR administration. We need to get that completed as well. And then in addition to all the other things that we're doing, we're still looking at the possibility of doing a rollout of a 311 reporting system from the community to the city directly on certain subjects. So we got 4 things here that we want to queue up, and we'll be mindful of council's schedule. And we know that this is also going to be a busy year for council, other things that you have to do. So anything that you need, just give us a call. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, President Peters. Again, I just want to welcome back our council members. I know I've challenged you all quite a bit this last year. I challenged myself and I challenged our administration. I appreciate the hard work that you've done and the decisions that you've made for the betterment of our community. I'm very hopeful that we're going to see our city moving forward, and some of the things that you've helped me plan this year, I think we'll be able to hopefully have some fruition throughout this year. And I'm very hopeful. I'm not dismayed by the pandemic. I'm still very strong on going forward, and with your help and determination, we're going to make some good things happen for our community. I appreciate your dedication and your volunteer hours and your hard work too, in the decisions that you make. Our city government is so important to us, and I so much want us to be the example of what really working together means. Agree or disagree, but I think we're working for a common good. And I just want to welcome everybody back. Thank you for allowing me to serve with you all this last year, and I look forward to having another challenging year as we navigate this COVID pandemic. We have a lot of work ahead of us yet, so thank you. I just want you all to stay safe and keep well. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. All right. Next up, Director of Finance, Gina.
Thank you. I would like to, if we can, just take a peek at the finance report, that monthly finance report. And I'm not going to go through every number and every chart, but I would at least like to acquaint you with how and what information is in here, and then we can modify this, add to it, take things out. But what I try to do, and we'll just, I don't know, Ben, if you're able to pull up that report, if we can go just to page 2, we'll just start on the next page. So everything I tried to present in here, because people see things differently, is the information is in a graph, but then the numbers relating to that same graph is just right below it or right beside it or something. So on the very top, we have our monthly income tax receipts, and you can see, because of all the legislative changes over with Senate Bill, 5, and then we changed and added a new section into our income tax code over the last couple of years, which changed the deadline dates. And so you can see what that has done to the city's cash flow, and this is every municipality has experienced this. But municipal income tax, of course, is our number one major revenue. So we like to really track it, keep an eye on it, and it just helps us to look at or explain some variances, some big ones. You see that big drop in July. And actually, I think that's 2016. But if you drop down below, I put a note in there. That was actually the year that the city went to RETA for collections. And so cash flows, we still got all the money, but it was just delayed by a month and through that transition. We look at the very top, probably the top mark there in October. And again, if you pop down below to 2020 or 2020, you can see in October that was truly our April collections, but that was due to COVID. So we'll try to make those adjustments and notes along the way so that the history can kind of identify some trends for us. And then below on the bottom with the 3-bar graph, I broke down the income tax by type. And again, this just gives you a picture of our economic climate. So how much are we receiving from withholding from companies that are mandatory withholding within our city for their employees? Those are the green. And then the purple boxes are individual taxpayers, and our blue is the net profit. Those are our corporate, they're our businesses. So we can kind of track those over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. We have lots and lots of history, but I just tried to give you an idea so we can kind of see what's happening with the income tax. And then let's go to the next page.
Hey, Gina,
yes.
Can I ask a quick question before you move on?
Yes.
Are you anticipating the same 30 to 60 day delay in 21 for income tax receipts in April and May?
I have not heard anything about, the city will follow the federal and state guidelines on tax filing deadlines. So if the IRS changes the tax filing deadline from April 15th to May, June, or July, the city has to follow that. But I have not heard anything about that happening right now.
Okay, thank you.
They haven't delayed it yet. Not yet.
Question.
Okay, so then the very next page, page 3, this is, remember how we build our budget. And so I'm not going to flip back and forth, but just so you know what's coming, the very next page is our budget, but this is cash activity. So right now you're seeing a whole year because this is through December 31st, but we list every fund on the left. And I know it looks like a lot of information, but you're used to seeing it, and all the cash balances in each of those funds to get to the bottom line. Then we list all of the revenues, and those will be year to date. So January is going to be much smaller than this, but this is actual what we've received, actual what we've spent in every fund, and then the cash balance. So that'll be your 4th column. And then on the right-hand side, I'm just comparing for you the prior year, same month. So for the end of January, we'll see January 31st, and then I'll list for you where we were last year, January 3rd. And it's just a gauge. It's not always going to be the same. The variances can explain themselves. If it's a special revenue fund and it's a grant, such as our CARES Act money, we're not going to receive well, I'm sorry, I don't know that we're not going to receive, but so far we don't have a budget for or have received any of those special funds in 2021. So that would explain the variance for this year. So those are just each of your funds. This is what we build all of our budget money to do, is to spend in all these different ways. And the number one fund, of course, that we keep our eye on is general fund. So on the bottom of this page, I'm just tracking the general fund cash balance. And again, I give you all the numbers. I don't know if you want to see the numbers, but our cash balance, this just monthly trend helps us identify the liquidity so that we can know how much interim monies we have available for investments, for long-term, for short-term, if we match them to debt payments. But this just kind of shows us how much cash we need. You know, we obviously try to keep 25% cash of our operating balance of all times, because that gives us our 3 and 4 months. You know, that's prudent spending and that's good planning. And so we keep our eye on general fund cash balance. And that's really just what that chart is showing you over the years. And then, as I said, the next page is the budget. It's the same format as the actuals, but the next page will show you the budget numbers. So same list of all the funds. And again, this looks like a lot of numbers because it's the end of the year, I'm giving you the original budget of revenues in gray and then the final budget in yellow, just so you can see the comparison and all of those amendments we did through the year to get to final budget. So this is the piece that the auditors pull at the end of the year and audit all of those amendments that you pass through council. And then on the bottom, I'm just giving you some pie charts so you can visually see for the general fund and then also for the utility funds. Ben, will you scroll down a little to the bottom? Thank you. So these are just the general fund revenue, the composition of what makes up general fund revenue. I know it's tiny. General fund expenses, where do we spend our general fund money? And then the utilities I put together, but those are our enterprise funds, which are our business-like funds that need to be self-supporting. That's what we're doing our rate studies on right now. But we have water, sewer, and the garbage. And so you can see where our revenues are for those operations and where those expenses are as well. And then the very last page is our bank reconciliation. That's something else we also like to share with council. And just to let you know, again, we looked at all the cash balances and where we have our money and that it reconciles with what we have on the books. We're showing our depository balances at $9.5 million, and our investments, we have 65% invested in those various things that are listed for you. It's not super exciting about the interest rates that we're showing at 0.15% in Star, Ohio. We do have a portfolio with UBS, and we can pull those together to show you there's a lot of staggered investments through over the next 3 and 4 and 5 years that make up that rest of that composition of about $12 million. So those are things that we're managing with UBS and Star, Ohio. And again, it's based on liquidity of funds. But again, another thing I just want to show you. And then I think I did also send you, because I wasn't sure if you're used to seeing just the revenue report and expense report that prints out of the system. If that's something that you want to continue getting, that's fine. Let me know. That we print those to balance with the rest of the reports. We have lots and lots of reports and lots of spreadsheets. So if there's not something you want to see, or if you're looking at this and saying this is just way too much, I don't want to see all that, just let me know and we can change the report.
Hey, Gina, I have another question, and pardon me if this is a dumb question, but for example, when we go to the bond market, what in this report dictates whether we're a AAA or a AA or single A?
That's actually, a completely separate report. So Moody's has a rating system. Well, there's a couple, Standard & Poor's. And so we put together they have a rating update that they request certain information from us, and then they use that to update our rating. They don't do a complete rating every year. So that is a completely separate report. There are different things in that, such as your general fund balance. Do you have 25%? That is just one tiny little piece of it. What is your debt capacity? There's a legal debt margin that, of course, we try to stay under. There's a 10% limit, there's a 15% limit. And then they look at your rates. If it's for utilities, does it sustain and can it pay for your debt? They look at your economic outlook in your community. Is it dependent on one major business, or do you have, a good base market? Is it residential? So there are so many factors built into your bond rating. And I'll pull the last report. I think usually it's around springtime where we do an update, but I'll find the last one that they did, or I'll wait until the next one in the next couple of months and make sure I send that to you whenever we get that done.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions for Gina?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much,
Gina.
All right. Moving on. City Engineer, Rob.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to update you quickly. We had our bid opening back on January 13th for our 2021 paving program. If you recall, we did an ordinance before the holidays to go out to bid early to see if we could get good numbers. And we have had in our budget $350,000. I tried to put together a program in the low 300s to leave a little margin for error in there. Well, we got some really paid off for us. We got some great numbers. Our low bid was in the amount of $261,601. So we haven't discussed it yet internally, but I would assume that we'll probably add a couple more streets and get a little more done this year.
Yay.
Yeah, so glad to see that. So other than that, that completes my report, unless there's any other questions.
Good report, Rob.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. All right, Ben.
I just want to give a quick update on the council records project, which I gave a big presentation on just before last summer. So thanks in part to the renovations, all of council's records have now been consolidated into either the clerk's office or the cage, with the exception of the journal of proceedings, which is still in the safe. All ordinances that were not on archival quality materials have now been rebound into archival quality materials, so that they'll be around for many generations to enjoy after we're all long gone. And the third major thing that we're getting done is finishing out building our code into our website. I would say at this point about 2/3 is fully built into the website and keywords searchable from our homepage. I was hoping to have that done by the end of the calendar year, but it turned out to be more labor intensive than I anticipated, and with just me in the office, I can only get 4 or 5 chapters done a week. But hopefully that'll be done by the end of the first quarter. Any questions on records?
Thanks, Ben.
Oh, good work. Thank you, Ben. All right, moving on to council reports. Member Foltz. Is he on mute?
He's in distress over the Browns loss.
Yeah, he's on mute.
He's on mute. Doug, are you on mute?
Yeah. All right, we'll come back to him. How about Member Warren?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, there you go, Doug.
You're halfway through your presentation already. Figured it out.
I was watching Browns highlights against Pittsburgh. You're lucky
We
I came
figured.
here.
So you're
We
crying.
figured.
Hey, real quick, I appreciate everybody's point of view tonight. There was good discussion, and really, that's what we should do as council. So, it was put out there, and the vote was taken. Secondly, I hopefully I misunderstood from our speaker, but there was some discussion from that person about 9th Street Skate Park facility, and Dale and Melody Brownfield, who I know very well, have met there numerous times, dozens of times with them. They donate their time to that skateboard facility at 9th and Schroyer. It's one of the top skateboard areas in Northeast Ohio. So I'm very proud of them, and they have been nominated. Dale was volunteer twice this past year through the repository. So just want to make that statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, now, Member Warren.
Okay. Doug, I'll watch those reels too. Yeah, I so appreciated the conversation and the in exec session and just all the different viewpoints. And I think it's a true testament that we can come out of there and I'll still laugh and just have the concerns in the best interest of the city. And, I think about the our new president and all he spoke about with unity and understanding and coming together. And I think that's what we do really well as a council. So I'm just really proud of that. And Gina, thank you for that, for explanations of all the different financial sheets. I think that's really helpful. And we haven't done that. And I would love to do that either on a monthly basis or quarterly, whatever you think is appropriate. But I think it gives us all a real handle on where things are. And it just keeps it fresh in our memories and helps us to make better decisions as council members. And every time I come out of my allotment and head down East Hill, I just love my new paved street. So thank you to the Director of Engineering for helping accomplish that and for all the bids and all the grants that we've received for our city. It's truly just a great city to drive through so many times, especially through the winter. So thank you.
Thank you, Steph. Member Fonte.
Thank you. Thanks for all the input. Yeah, the heated conversations that we had, it's great that we all come out in one piece. So thanks again, Mayor, for all your hard work. And yeah, we highly respect you and Patrick for all you guys do, all the administration, including Gina. Thanks for all those confusing graphs. I just want to say, Mr. Covey, he was a spirited young man as well. And I'm sorry for his loss, his family. That was real nice. Whatever that reading that you had, that proclamation was great. And just as a reminder, if anybody's out there that's interested in, highlighting a business or highlighting anybody, I'll be more than happy to do a little video clip, or if anybody wants to do it, I keep making the offer. I'm still doing it on my own as best I can. So just let me know if anybody's interested. That's all I have to report.
We should do one at Pavs in the winter.
Why don't we just all go over there and just get what do you call it? A milkshake or cocktail shake or whatever.
I like it.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, why don't you guys coordinate something and I'll go over and I'll bring my camera. We'll do a nice promotion for them or anybody that you would like to promote in the city or out, anywhere in the community. Cause this is, like I said, we can't curse the wind. We're adjusting our sails here in North Canton. Miss seeing everybody face to face.
Amen. All right. Member Revolt.
Two quick items. First, Gina, echoing others, kudos on this monthly report. I think it goes without saying that the most important thing we do as a council is to manage the municipality's finances, and to have these documents in the packet on a monthly basis help us fulfill that responsibility. Clear, concise, easy to understand. I hope it's a practice that continues. Back in the day, we used to get this. I don't know what happened, but I'm glad it's back. You may recall, not too long ago, we were engaged in a vigorous debate over the CRA and whether people would actually demolish houses and rebuild new houses. Well, if you're out driving around, go down to Orchard Hill School on Jonathan at the intersection with Maple Crest and look at the two new houses that are under construction. One's completed. There was a house there and a large garage, knocked down, lots divided. These two houses went up. The house that's complete is on the market for $329,000. So I think we've got an opportunity here to really take the community into the next generation of residential building. And I hope that as we work on our zoning ordinance after we've done Main Street, we can come up with a strategy to do two things. One is to reinvest in our housing stock for single family homes. And the second is to figure out a way to address our multifamily issues. And I think there are some solutions out there in other communities, and I hope we can get there. But really good news down on the corner of Maple Crest and Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you, Daryl. Member Serrata?
Yes, a couple of things. First of all, I'm glad that those folks who in the administration had COVID, I was not aware of that. And I'm glad you've all recovered. I know how serious and severe that can be. So I'm glad you guys are back with that. Rob, you've done a great job with East Maple. Looks like that's finished up, and I've driven by there many times over the last couple of weeks, and that's something we could be very proud of. So nice job up there. Gina, thanks again for your report. I agree with what everyone said. I think the more that we have information about our finances, the better we are. Also, I thought the proclamations were very nice by the mayor tonight. Not only his schools, but Mr. Covey. He was a very good guy. And so that was well done. Also, for Matt Stroya, I'm not sure if we had time to acknowledge the passing of his father. So as a community, Matt, our sympathy goes out to you and your family. And that'll do it for me.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, Member Stroya.
All right. Well, let me choke back my tears for a second here. That caught me off guard, but thank you, Mark. I want to say thanks to Mr. Mulqueen for speaking. Mayor, thank you for your proclamations. Not only for the education, but Mr. Covey was a very kind man. I'm sure everybody has met him and talked to him, and he was very passionate, and prayers go out to his family. Gina and the staff that she works with, what you guys have done for the transparency and the detail of our finances is very impressive. I love seeing that. So thank you very much for that. Ben, I think you said we have at least one new intern. So I want to welcome the new interns. And Ben, I just want to thank you for the depth of work that you've done over the last year, looking back over all the rules and ordinances that you just we outlined in 31 through 107 in the committee of the whole meeting. That's very impressive, very strong work. Looking forward to another strong year of legislation and everything, and hopefully we get through COVID. Catherine, I'm glad you're back, and support local. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Matt. And I'll finish by echoing everything that Matt and Mark basically said. First, Mayor, thank you for the proclamations for the schools and recognizing our hardworking Board of Education members, and in particular, the proclamation for Rod Covey. He a very long and illustrious life, and all the contributions he made to our community. He's passionate about everything he did, and at times we didn't see eye to eye. But he was a kind man, a good man, and some of those things that you were rattling off, I did not know. He lived a full life, and my heart goes out to his family. And Rob, great job, East Maple. I've heard nothing but good things. It looks great, and I know you're up to a very tough schedule there. Timeline, and you did very well. And lastly, Mark, thank you for mentioning Virgil Stroya, Matt's father. He was a North Canton legend and a good man, and my prayers do go out to the whole Stroya family and Bonnie in particular. So with that, final call for new business to council.
President Peters, may I add one item?
Yeah, absolutely, Mayor.
Sorry, I neglected this. We've been approached to try to assist the Akron Canton Airport through the Stark Development Board and Jobs Ohio to be a partner to help co-fund the Akron Canton Airport Commercial Air Service Restoration Program. And I'm asking council to discuss or consider us allowing up to $7,500 as a contribution towards their to help restart their nonstop airline service that's declined due to the departure of one of their major airlines, I believe Delta, and the COVID situation that we're in. They are they have an opportunity through Jobs Ohio that their Jobs Ohio is providing an opportunity to match $4 to $1 match for incentive funding raised for the Canton Akron Airport. I understand Stark County has, commissioners have made a contribution. Jackson Township has made a contribution, and Canton has set aside some funds. In talking with Mr. Diorio, we looked at maybe a per capita compared to other communities, okay, what it would be for our contribution. And this is where we came up with a figure of $7,500. So I'm not sure how we approach this. I don't usually come asking you for money, but whether I put it for council to vote or you have to discuss it tonight. But I wanted to share that with you. I think it behooves us to be a partner in support of the Canton Akron Airport as to what it does for our community and Greater Stark County and Summit County.
Mayor, I'm glad you brought that up. I had a couple conversations with Patrick over the break regarding this, and I would support that 100%. And the reason being is that is such a huge part of the economic life of not just our community, but the tri, all the counties around us. The benefits are immeasurable. Let me put it that way. So
Mr.
I think
Peters,
that is
President Peters?
Is there a timeline
Yes, sir.
on that?
President Peters?
Is there a
Yeah.
timeline? Oh, go ahead, Daryl. Sorry.
Go ahead, ask Mark first. Let Mark, because I'm going to make a motion real quick.
I
Okay.
just want to know, is there a timeline on that?
What do you mean, Mark?
Well, I mean, is it due at a certain time or is this something?
Yeah, it's due like imminently.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm for it. I'm good.
Okay, Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
Walt, I'm going to make a motion that we authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement and expend an amount not to exceed $7,500 for the joint promotion of the airline industry at the Akron Canton Airport.
Okay, Daryl, and before I get a second on that one, Patrick,
Yes.
can you briefly kind of go over real quick for whoever may be listening outside the meeting here? You told me how you kind of came to that number and how it relates to population and that type of thing. Could you just kind of give a quick overview on how we came to that number?
Yes, briefly and two quicklies. So I looked at what the other communities surrounding us were donating, Jackson, Canton, commissioners, what was happening up in Summit County, the other partners up there. And I looked at, based on the amount that they were giving, and divided that into their population to come up with a per capita give. And many of them were quite low, I felt. So for us, it came out to, I thought, 42 cents per person would get you about 7,500, and that put us on a level that exceeded, I believe, where Jackson and where the city of Canton had come up on a per capita basis. I'm not sure how they figured their numbers, but given our proximity to the airport, we felt a higher number would be justified.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Pat. I just wanted the rest of council to hear what you told me, and I thought that really it did make sense.
And I didn't know if the mayor mentioned, but it was a total of 700,000 they were looking for between the two communities of Stark and Summit. And
That's correct. Yes.
and Summit did a really nice job as far as their elected and like their commissioners. I think the city of Akron gave 100,000 and various entities, but our business community did really well. But just the other day, I guess Smucker's donated 100,000 as well. So that puts them over the 700, which may enable them to even go after a second airline. So I'm thrilled to be a part of it as well.
I think it's great. Yeah, round trip out of Akron, Canton's really convenient and beautiful.
Yeah, it's really neat how the community came together.
We'll channel this through the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce Foundation. That's we'll make a donation to allow us to be a partner in this. So thank you, everybody, for your comments.
Yep.
Thanks.
Well, we have a motion from Daryl. Do we have a second?
Seconds.
Second.
How about we call a roll call on this one, Ben?
Member Peters,
Yes.
Member Stroya,
Yes.
Member Revolt,
Yes.
Member Foltz,
Yes.
Member Warren,
Are you muted, Steph?
Is she muted?
I'm sorry, abstain.
Member Soretta,
Yes.
and Member Fonte.
Yes.
6-4, 1 abstention.
All right. Let the record reflect member Warren abstained. Okay.
Thank you.
Moving.
Thank you, Council.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. All right, moving on finally to our meetings calendar. We have February 1st, Committee of the Whole. February 8th will be a regular council meeting. February 15th, there will be no meeting in observance of President's Day. And then February 22nd will be regular council. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Ready to move?
Warren second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Have a great evening, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody.